Welcome to the merch store. I am not a singer. Thank you for shopping the merch store. All my merch are designed to empower and encourage us with the fact that we can heal ourselves. We are in charge of our wellness. So take courage and be in charge. For customizable merch, you can reach out to me. The customizable merch are great for family events like family reunions, and it's also great for corporate events. So if you have a business and you have a corporate event, reach out. I can help. Infinite wellness to you. Welcome to the merch store. I am not a singer. Thank you for shopping the merch store. All my merch are designed to empower and encourage us with the fact that we can heal ourselves. We are in charge of our wellness. So take courage and be in charge. For customizable merch, you can reach out to me. The customizable merch are great for family events like family reunions, and it's also great for corporate events. So if you have a business and you have a corporate event, reach out. I can help. Infinite wellness to you. Welcome to the merch store. I am not a singer. Thank you for shopping the merch store. All my merch are African people. My gosh, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that little tech glitch, but I had some stuff happening back here. But listen, we are here. We show up with mistakes and all, and we make it happen because you know what? Tonight, this morning, whenever you're seeing this is a special message to help those of us that are parents that have autistic children. I have a special guest with me here today who is more than willing to share her story, her journey, how she manages her everyday life, and how it affects her family. And I'm willing to take as much as she's willing to give. Please let me know if there's anything that you don't feel comfortable with. That's okay. You can always just decline and say, hey, But in this community, it's all about love, support for each other. So right now, I invite you to give this a thumbs up and share it out. There's someone out there that needs to hear this message, this story from the amazing Inga. I don't know how she does it because parenting itself is not easy. But when you're parenting an autistic child, that's even a bigger challenge. So bless you, bless all the mamas and daddies out there who are holding it up and doing what they need to do to protect and give our children the love, the nurturing, and the support they need. And please don't ever forget, you also need nurturing. You also need support. So that's why Inga is here. She's going to talk about some of the stuff she's doing, the community she's connected to, and how we could benefit. Inga, please, I know I didn't do any justice talking about you and your amazing self. So please introduce yourself to the community. Tell us what you're all about and some of the things you're planning. But don't give away too much because we're going to get into it.
Yeah. Okay. So hello, everyone. So my name is Inga, and I have a son that's 13 years old, and he has high functioning autism along with speech delay. And so he didn't really start talking until he was about 4 years old. And so since he wasn't talking, I actually took the initiative to actually teach him his emotions, comprehension skills, reading, writing, independent skills, and I also taught him how to do his attention span. I kind of helped him, with his attention span because he had pretty bad attention span at the time. And so I did all that all before he started kinder. And so now he's doing a lot better. He's thriving, and he does. Also, I'm a homeschooling mom also, so I homeschool him. He's been homeschooled ever since COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, he refuses to go back to in-person school, so we just have him at home. And he does so much better. His behaviors are doing so much better, and he's doing great. And everyone's very impressed with him. And he even does his homeschooling on his own. So, he does his classes on his own, and he comes and gets me when he needs help. And so it works out. Doing pretty good.
That's a testament of your ability to, do what you have to do as a mom. I commend you. Because homeschooling is big. That's a lot. And that's something I wanted to do, but I'm like, I'm not sure if I could actually do it. And when I asked my boys, do you want to stay home and do homeschooling? My eldest was like, no, because he likes to interact and be in person. So I'm like, okay, I get it. But hats off to you, sis. You're doing it all. So just tell us a little bit about your family. what is the setting like? Is it just your autistic child? Like, what's his age and the other children that you have, if you
Okay.
have other children?
Yeah. Well, I have an oldest too. Going to be 20 in actually at the end of this month. So I have a 20-year-old.
Oh, no, happy early birthday.
And then, of course, my husband, of course, and my husband and I, we've been married for 20 years. We actually just had our anniversary on the July 30th.
Oh
So,
my gosh, a few days after my birthday. Happy belated anniversary.
yeah, so I mean, it's been a wild ride. So, I mean, and then also I have my son, of course, he's 13. So,
Okay. Oh, just like my son, 2010. Well,
yeah,
actually, my son is going to be 14 this year. So,
yeah,
yeah.
same with mine. He's gonna be 14 on November 30th.
Out of time that we planted, my son is November 22nd.
Really? Wow. So he's a
Yes.
Scorpio or a Sagittarius.
He's kind of like on the cusp between Sag and Scorpio, but he's
Okay.
more like a Sag, I guess. He has that Sag energy. He just tells you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's how my son is. Yeah, because I'm actually a Scorpio. I'm actually on the 15th, November 15th.
Oh
So
wow. My husband and my youngest son, they're Scorpio. They're the third and the 21st.
wow. Yeah. A lot of
We have a
Scorpios.
lot in common. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Everyone says I don't act like one though. They're like, you're not a Scorpio. I'm like, yeah, I am.
I love
So
my Scorpios. You guys are amazing.
thank you. When's your birthday?
I'm July 27th, a few days before your anniversary. So I'm Leo. I'm the
Oh,
fire
okay.
sign.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
let's talk about like support. Like, what's your biggest source of support with all this? Like, when you first, actually, you know what? Let's go back to the beginning. Let's do this story
Mhm.
in order, chronological order. Like the beginning, like when he was first diagnosed. Like, how did that impact your family? How did that impact you as a mom?
Well, technically we haven't I mean, we got him diagnosed actually about a week ago. We actually went and got him diagnosed. But while he was younger, his doctors were saying that, if because he wasn't developing correctly because his speech, he has a really hard time with his speech. He talks really fast, and he
Mhm.
also has a hard time pronouncing certain words. And so it's like I can understand him for the most part, but some other people, like when we're outside, like going shopping or
Mhm.
somewhere else, and he tries to talk to other people. Sometimes they can't understand him, and so we kind of have to translate for him. But since that, his doctors calls it he has pressured speech. Basically,
Okay.
he feels like he has to hurry up and answer the question, and so in that way, he has a hard time, trying to talk that way, answer
Is that
questions.
frustrating for him as he gets older, or he's
He's doing a lot better. I mean, when he was younger, it was very hard because, since he was nonverbal for, 10 till he was about 4 years old, that's when he started actually like saying words and stuff like that. And so he did have a lot of outbursts and a lot of, and so that's why we had a hard time with him, and that's why his doctors also said that, well, if your son, we're speculating that your son is high functioning autism. And I was like, okay. And also he has speech delay because, he wasn't talking really at the time. And so that's what we went by for the longest time. And then we actually just got a actual diagnosis actually a couple days ago because we did the testing a week ago, and they came
Mhm.
back and they said that yes, he is high functioning and he does have speech delay. And
Mhm.
so that's, I mean, and my husband and I, we already kind of knew about it. And so, we want to make sure we're on the same page when we
Yeah.
do this whole thing because, it's a lot,
Yeah.
just, say that you're, to do all those testings on them. And, so we kind of like, that's another reason why we didn't do that is because at the time when he was younger, he wasn't very cooperative
Yeah, I would imagine, I would
to do the
imagine.
test. And so that's why we waited until he matured me because now he's 13. He's a lot more matured. He's a lot more calmer, more,
Cool.
understanding of
Mhm.
what's going on. And so that's why we're like, okay, we can do it now. And so that's why we did that.
Okay. So what are some of the tests that they do for the children to figure out? Because I never even thought about, the testing and stuff. Like
Mhm,
I just thought they just observed them and said, oh, okay, this is
mhm,
what it is. I didn't know they actually went through testing. So thanks for that awareness.
yeah.
What does that work like?
Well, the school district does a different thing, and then also like the outside of school, like the medical side, like
Right.
they do a different kind of test, I think. I mean, because I know when he was going through his school, they
Mhm.
didn't. We weren't, of course, we're not allowed really in the room with him because he has to concentrate on what's going on.
Oh,
But what
okay.
I know is like they ask him quite a few questions, and then they ask him, like how they just mainly observe him to see how he does. Like I know when he was younger, they tried to observe him and ask him questions and try to get him to cooperate, but he wouldn't cooperate at the time. Because he chooses who he wants to talk to. That's one of his little traits is that he can actually he can read people, and he knows
Mm,
bad if he likes you or if you're a good person or bad person.
I
He'll
like
let.
that. He's intuitive. I like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always like ever since he was little, I always told him like, oh, I was like, do you like this person? I was like, if he doesn't like it, then I know that they're not the greatest person because especially with his teachers, he kind of knew
Mm.
if he didn't like you, he won't pay attention to you. He
Oh,
won't even
wow.
try to communicate with you or anything. So I think that's a pretty cool thing that he.
Right? Yeah, I think it's best that you do what you're doing. I think that was probably the best thing because, a teacher's not going to have the same patience like you do and the same nurturement effect and stuff like that. And, I really commend you for that because that is work, like doing the whole homeschool thing. So, like, how did, dealing with his situation affect your family life? Did you guys have to like do a big change around as, you started noticing things? Or did you just make it work just the way it is?
Actually, honestly, I know that a lot of people like when they have kids on the spectrum, a lot of kids like they thrive on schedules, and routines and stuff.
Mm. Oh, okay.
And I'm not that type of person. I don't do routines. I don't do schedules. I don't, I just wing everything. I just go with everything. I just go with the flow.
You're
And
not alone, sister. I am like that. Like I keep trying to like, and there's certain things that I do. Yeah, like bedtime, I know, okay, that's a certain time. But like summertime, I kind of let it go. But yeah, I'm not that. I try, but it's not really my natural flow.
mhm, exactly, yeah, yeah. It's not easy. I mean, even like and we're night owls too. My son and I, we love staying up at night because I think it's calmer for us, and so we kind of like.
Mm.
So I'm a night owl. I'm trying to work on it, but it's not easy. But with that, and all, it's just like so. Like my son, he's used to it. He's used to our like chaotic, hectic,
Mhm.
going with the flow kind of lifestyle. And I think actually he doesn't really like schedules. I mean, like his school, like right now, they do
Mhm.
things during his class, like a routine thing. They and he always just like he looks at me, sometimes when I go check on him, he's just like I'm like bored. I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, oh, I know what's going on. He's like, I know what's coming. I know what's gonna happen.
Mm.
I already know and so he knows he kind of like knows how to like skip over those kind of things, those areas.
Oh,
Because
wow.
he's like, I already know what's going on. It's like, all right.
That is interesting. So he gets bored with a routine. And it's
Mhm.
funny because I think some children thrive with a routine because a lot of research that I've been doing has been pointing me in the direction of routine is good for the children because they thrive on that. But I feel like you got to know your child. Not everything fits them. So kudos to you for doing it your way. And some of our family in the chat, Black Money Corporation, thank you for that donation. You're appreciated, my brother. Have a beautiful day as well. And people are saying, Savage Divinity saying, I understand. Hello from Crooked Peach. Guys, this is my beautiful sister that I just met via Facebook group, and she is amazing. I just had to bring her up here, even though she felt like she wasn't really ready for it. I'm like, listen, let's get it done. Someone needs to hear this story. It's going to encourage someone.
Mhm.
So her information, she has a YouTube channel, but she didn't start creating content yet.
Mhm.
However, she's planning to do that. She's also on TikTok, Facebook. I have all our information in the description section. Make sure you go and follow her, subscribe to her channel, put on the notification bell. So when she does drop those videos,
Mhm.
it will be there for you. You will see the notification. Show her some love and some support.
Thank
See if you're able to stream this to your channel as well. And you could always do it as unlisted or private if
you.
you don't want it to be on that channel.
So I know I tried doing it earlier and it wouldn't let me. So let me see. I'm trying to do it right now. So if I'm looking like a little weird right now, it's 'cause I'm playing on my computer.
That's okay. I think are we live on Facebook right now? I can't even check. I think I have a live going on Facebook. So if I'm live on Facebook, hello Facebook, welcome in. Please like and share this out. Let's help to improve the community of parents who need support, who needs understanding, who needs more insight. Some people are now new to this. So this information, all you've been through for 13 years, is going to help somebody out there. And
Yes.
welcome in all my family to chat. I see you, the Bud Files, for Capiche, GA Girl, Makeup Mom and Son. Forgive me, guys, if I'm squinting because I'm on my phone. I'm trying something new and I found my tripod, by the way. My
Oh,
husband had it in the garage. Like, why?
yeah.
Anyway,
Husbands, right? Yeah.
okay. So, yeah. So, how does this like, as far as like the family dynamics? Like, did you have to have like a family meeting with your daughter and your husband, and you guys like maybe discuss some of the best ways to be there for your son? Like, how did that work?
Um, well, it's like, didn't really like have a meeting or anything, it was just like mainly like we're just like we had to talk about it a lot, and a lot of us, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but a lot of us played the blame game, like because when
Mhm.
you have when you start seeing this, like your child not developing the right way, we kind of like think, okay, well, whose fault is it? Why did he come out like, why is he like this and
Oh
why
my
is he
God.
having these issues, And so
Mhm.
I know it's not right, and I know it's not, how it's supposed to be, but,
No, but that's real though. And
like
oh my
you
God, I'm so emotional. That is real. I could understand why you would feel that way because yeah. All right, keep talking. I'm sorry. I'm just
no, it's okay. Yeah,
yeah, I get it. I get it.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't want people to think, like, we're not happy with our son, we love our son dearly. I mean, he is who he is, and we just, we accept him for who he is, and we just love him. I mean, I don't think we can actually see him any kind of different way now because it's just him. He's our little guy. He's our little Marty, and
Mhm.
he's very loving. He's very, he's not a typical like kid on a spectrum too, I don't think, because he's very affectionate. I mean, he loves people. He does a lot of eye contact. He does he just he and he's also very aware of what's going on. So I mean, he's just an amazing little kid. I mean, he's very smart. I mean, his main thing is he likes numbers. So like he's not
Oh,
really good at basic math. For some reason I can't get him to do basic math. He's like really hard. But he is very good with like say like the first, he knows all the presidents. He knows when they were born, he knows when they were presidents, he knows like they like when a movie comes out, like
mhm.
Disney, he loves Disney. And so he can
Oh,
tell you when every Disney movie pretty much came out.
oh, wow.
It's like, yeah. I mean, he remembers all that stuff and he's like always and I think he has like a photographic memory too, because like when he was younger, when
Mhm.
when we used to go for car rides, he would fall asleep, in the car, and
Mhm.
then he'll wake up and he'll know exactly where we are. And I'm like,
Wow.
how do you know where we are? You're
That's
asleep.
incredible.
Yeah,
I
and then he
yeah,
also
I
knows
think
directions.
some people that are autistic have like certain superpowers, if I
Oh yeah,
might
that's what I
call
was.
it that, like
Mhm.
certain abilities that most of us don't really have. Like we have it, but it's not as heightened as theirs for some
Yeah,
reason. And I think that's a blessing actually. Now,
yeah.
her name is Inga Savage. They're asking for your name. I'm sorry, forgive me for not saying that. You guys came in after I announced her. But her name is Inga, and all her information is in the About Me section.
Mhm.
I am also going to try to leave a pin comment with her information as well for those of you that are coming after. Now, you keep saying spectrum. You said that at least 2 or 3 times. Help those of us that don't understand spectrum, because I kind of heard about it a little bit, but I'm not very aware of it. Like when you say spectrum, what do you mean?
Well, that's how I kind of like say it because I think it's easier because when they're on the spectrum, it's just basically saying like it can be any part of the autism spectrum basically like even ADHD is included in it, OCD, there's all kinds of things that's involved in on the spectrum, and so it's just like telling you just like this is just a wide thing, everything can be included, not everything, but most disabilities and most special needs is like in that spectrum. And so that's how I always say, I always say my son's on the spectrum, and saying that instead of saying he's autistic, because there is a big spectrum. And
Mm,
so it just makes it a little bit easier, I think.
yeah. And
At
I'm
least,
seeing some comments. I didn't even realize so many people in my community as I announced this topic today. I was live earlier. I realized a lot of people in the community were saying, "Hey, I have an autistic child and they're dealing with this." So I was like, "Oh wow." I had no idea. It's incredible. And it seems to be becoming a more popular thing now. Like if you
yeah,
trace back like 20 years ago, it wasn't as much, but it begs me to wonder, like, could it be the medication, the food, something in the air, the environment?
yeah,
I don't know, but something is responsible for this
mhm.
occurrence, you know?
Yeah, you're
But
right. I mean,
yeah,
it's
it's
becoming
something.
a lot more aware. Yeah, a lot more people are coming out with, saying, "Oh my," even at late diagnosis, all adults are coming, are saying like, "Oh, well, I was just diagnosed autistic." I was like, "Oh, wow." And so, like, especially with my
Mhm,
podcast that I've been doing, I've been hearing talking to a lot of people, and a lot of them are like, some late diagnosis autistic adults, and I'm just like, wow, that's amazing that you went all these years, and kind of didn't know what was, there was something going on, but you didn't know what it was exactly. And now you have like this diagnosis, and you're like, oh, okay, so this is why I'm having these little quirks I'm doing, and and stuff like that. So I mean, I think it's been amazing hearing all these stories and journeys and getting to know people. I mean, it's been very kind of helping me too. I guess it's like helping me with my, my journey with my son, and realizing, okay, well, he can thrive as being an adult, because I see all these other people, like they're
mhm,
adults and they're thriving and they're doing good. And so
yep,
we just gotta keep working on them and keep going, that's how, that's what my main goal is, just to try to get him as independent as I can, just to see how far we can get him.
yeah. I mean, hey, that's always the goal for any parent, whether autistic or normal or whatever you want to, describe it as. But yeah, we just can all do our best. Do you ever find yourself like in the beginning, maybe not now, because I feel like you're a pro now, like in the beginning, like was it frustrating for you when he maybe, well, I don't know, because I heard like most autistic children, they make certain noises. Did he do that growing up? Like weird noises, or maybe he doing like stuff that is like a fixation or something like that? Like, did you have to deal with that? And was it frustrating for you if you did?
He did. He had, like, of course, when he wasn't talking, he didn't make a lot of noises, like, because he made noises instead of, talking, and so that was his main thing. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, he was pretty quiet, but
Mm,
when he was trying to make his like, but when he was trying to get his point across, since he wasn't talking, he would make a lot of like screams and um, just noises to get your attention, basically, and then also he would cry a lot, tantrums and stuff like
mhm,
that. It wasn't, I mean, it was kinda hard because, like, when you're especially when you're out and about and you're trying to get him, trying to do your thing, like, do shopping or something like that, or go to restaurants or, anything like that, and you have a child, screaming or, or yelling or having a tantrum, and people look at you like, "What's going on with your child? Why is your child acting like that?" And a lot of people don't understand the fact that, about these when our kids are on the spectrum, because they don't understand that, we still wanna have
mhm,
a life too. And
mhm.
and so that's why, we still take them out. Like,
You should.
yeah,
Listen, I had to learn because people expect you to, there's this mindset of you need to control your child. I'm of the vibration of like, listen, they're all their own individual people. My job is to nurture, to guide, not to control and tell them how to be and who to be. Like, no, I'm
mhm,
not saying I encourage them to be disrespectful and all that. But they're humans. They're going to have moments where they want to explode, especially if they don't have opportunities to breathe, to relax, maybe to run around. There's different reasons why we all have a build up and just, you
yeah,
know what I mean? So we just gotta let them be. I release that, you don't have control over your child. Like, no, you're not gonna look at me like I'm a bad mother. I'm
yeah,
gonna do it the way I feel best for my tribe. Because
mhm,
there's stuff that I didn't like when I was growing up. So I try to correct that. I feel like it's our job to learn from our foreparents,
mhm,
use some of the things that they use that works, but kind of make it our own, and we're evolving. It's not the same generation. Welcome in, Frank.
Yeah, no,
Thank you so much for coming.
definitely. I mean, that's why, like, that's why I'm saying that's why I did that with my son. We took him everywhere with us. We took him shopping, we took him to the movies, we took him even like NASCAR, surprisingly, because my husband has,
Wow.
he,
Loud noises doesn't bother him, because I heard most autistic children, they can't deal with loud noises.
I think that's the reason why is because we exposed him to all that stuff while he was, when he was younger. I mean, we did all kinds of stuff with him because, a lot of people couldn't handle him when he was younger. And we also didn't really trust too many people with him too, because,
Yeah, I could
he
understand
has
that.
special needs, and and so that's why so everything we did, we took him with us. And so he had to learn how to adapt. And he did. He does really good. He has his iPad with him most of the time. But even then,
Mhm.
he's very aware. He knows what's going on. He's always like, he's always watching. Like I'll explain like a thing that he does. Like say, if we're at the table and our table is kind of like connected, our dinner table is kind of connected to like the living room area, so he's able to like, so we can watch TV and stuff like that, and while we're eating. And so say his iPad and he's
Mm.
playing Roblox. And there's be like a movie that he knows that's on. He'll actually be playing on his iPad, playing his Roblox game, and then also he'll be listening to the movie in the background, and he'll know exactly what part is on and everything else, and he'll
Oh,
actually like
wow.
everything else. And then say my family and I are actually having a conversation along at the dinner table, and
Mhm.
he'll even cue on that and know exactly what we're talking about. So he have three different things going on at once, and he'll be able to.
That is incredible. He's a multitasker. That's incredible.
Yes, I
Thank you
mean,
so much, GA girl. I appreciate you, sis. So, for the people out there, the new parents out there, or parents out there that may not know where to find support, like where do you find your biggest support? Would you share that with the community? I'll give you a solo, and you can talk about some of the things you're planning to do and all that. Because I know I'm looking at the time, and my apologies again for being a little late, true to myself, but I know you said you have a stop at 1:40, so we have about 1 minute. So go
yeah.
ahead. If you have a little extra time, that's fine. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can go a little bit over. That's fine. But my main support is like, of course, I go on like Facebook groups. I'm involved in some of those groups, and then also I'm also, of course, in my podcast, so I'm getting a lot of support with that. And then I'm also with a community called a group on Facebook, also called the Women's Impact Network. And we've been actually making a pretty big impact with autism and special needs in that group also, and so it's been helping a lot. And they're very supportive, and they're very open to everything that I'm doing also, and so it's been helping out a lot. And also they've been helping me with my podcast too, actually.
Yay. Where's your podcast going to be? On YouTube,
Yes.
Shopify, Apple? Okay, so is it going to be just YouTube or multiple platforms?
Right now, I'm just doing YouTube, and then eventually, once I get going and understand what's going on, I'm gonna start doing like the Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everything else. So,
Excellent.
yes.
Excellent. Let your voice be heard out there. I'm looking forward to that. So when is that going to be launched, and what time, what days? Like, what's your plan, or you don't have that shaped out yet?
Well, I do know I'm gonna do it next week, but I'm trying to figure out what the best day to do it. I think either Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. So I'm still trying to figure out. It might be probably either Thursday or Saturday though, because I still have a few things I have to get in place first before I start that. But I'm gonna stream actually 3 videos because right now I have quite a few. So I'm gonna.
Okay. Oh, you're going to do it in video format versus going live. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I already have them recorded and everything else. Yeah.
Okay, look at you go, girl. Was there anything else you want to share as in the way of support within the community? Do you lean on family a lot? Anything like that?
Mainly just my family and I. We just do everything ourselves. We just we lean on each other and we try to help each other. And you know, my two kids are very close. So I mean,
That's
they're very.
beautiful.
I'm happy
What more
about.
could a mother ask for, right? Just to see your
Yeah.
babies love each other. It's such a blessing. That warms my heart.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're like two peas in a pod. I mean, they're always together. They're always playing Roblox together. They're always doing something. So it's
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, so just like it's been great. I mean, and it's just also I just want to make sure that people know to also get your child's siblings involved. Make sure that you explain what's going on because that's what I did with my oldest. I made sure that I explained everything. At, I think my oldest was about 10 years old when I explained everything, and I think that helped a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how um, that's how their relationship grew. I think.
Yeah,
And
I think that's good because that allows them now to be, because siblings could be mean sometimes, let's be honest.
oh
I
yeah,
think that allows them to be a little more compassionate and supportive, like, oh, he may act a little different from me. So let
mhm,
me be a little more patient and understanding with them. Like, I get it. I totally get it because I observe my children and like my middle one, he's so different from the other two. He's more
yeah,
like quiet, reserved. Sometimes I wonder if he might be, like you said, like on that spectrum, like, maybe slightly, because, he functions and stuff normally, but like sometimes he makes these weird noises or like he can't take loud noises. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm self-diagnosing. I don't
yeah.
know, you know,
You do that as a parent,
but
right?
just observing and being honest about it. Like nobody wants that, but it's something that exists, and the best thing you can do is be aware, be prepared, and know how to, act accordingly and do
Exactly.
what's best for them. Yeah.
Yeah. May I how old are your kids? You have 2 boys, right?
Three boys. I
Oh,
got 13, 8, and 5. And
oh,
they're
wow.
all going to go up 1 year this year at the end of the year.
Wow. Yeah, so you got your hands full too, all boys.
Girl. Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And there's so much energy. I love them though. I don't think I could have done girls because I don't even know how to take care of hair stuff and all that.
Yeah.
This is perfect for me. I love boys. People are like, you're not gonna go for the girl? No, I'm fine. I'm
So you're kind
fine.
of a tomboy too, huh? And, don't
Mhm.
the
If you guys in the chat have any questions, you can go ahead and ask that now because I don't want to keep her because I know that she had a limited amount of time. But I just have one more question, right? My question is, as far as the relationship between you and your husband,
Mhm.
like in the beginning, did this like take a toll on the relationship? Like, how did that affect the relationship? Because I know now you have to put more time. Like, we know that when you have a new baby, it
Mhm.
definitely takes time away from the relationship because you're focused on the baby.
Mhm.
But, in this case, it's even more time away to focus on that child. So, did it take a toll or was it like, okay, we're going to figure this out together? What was that dynamic like?
Honestly, it did take a toll for a little while because, especially when he was very young and not speaking, he was nonverbal for a while. I mean, it did take a lot of, and also it took me it took me a lot. I had to really deep down, buckle down and actually just like concentrate on my son because that's how I felt like I can actually help is by, that's why I said like when before he started kinder, that's why I taught him all that stuff. And I actually, like I actually took 10 years off of social media too. I was like I went into like a rabbit hole and just like
Wow.
yeah, and I
You did
just
your thing.
concentrated on my son, and so my husband, yeah, we were kind of rocky at the time, but then also, he understood at the time too. Like, he knew I was trying to get our son up to par, like, try to get him talking, try to get him to communicate with us because that's the most important, we want him to communicate. And so that's why, I think he understood that. And so I think that helped out a lot. And also, but now, we're doing a lot better. We're doing, of course, because my son, he's verbal for the most part. He's verbal and he talks a lot and he just like, we can understand him a lot more. And so it's been a lot easier. But, of course, it's still hard because,
Mhm.
you want them to thrive as much as you can, but there's a limit and there's also sometimes you have to like take a step back and realize, okay, well, how can we teach him differently? How can like I always say that he taught me how to teach him.
Yeah,
You know?
they do. They really do.
Yeah, and I learned from him, on how to,
Mhm.
and so that's why I always step back and I just go, okay, how can we get this? I also observe him a lot too and see how he reacts to like certain things I'm trying to teach him. And so he does, like how I taught him actually was interesting because when he was younger,
Mhm.
um, I'll read to him like every day. He loved Dr. Seuss books, and so
Nice.
what I would do is like while he's playing or whatever, I'll just read in the background, and like say, like the title of the book, like the cat in the, and I'll pause. And then he'll like look at me and go, hat, the cat in the hat. And then, so that's how I knew he would actually listen to me. Cause I didn't think he was listening to me because he was always doing his own little thing, running around the house or and so I was like, is this kid even listening to me? Am I wasting my time here, But, and then that's how I taught him how to do his numbers, how to do his alphabets, how to read, how to everything. And so he's just like, I just, stop talking. And he's like, okay, why you stop talking for? You're always talking. And then he just stopped. And then so he's like, okay, and looks up at me and then he finishes whatever I'm doing. So I thought that was interesting. And I hope that helps, some people, you know, teach their child because you never know.
Yeah, I feel like you really got to tune in, like with any child, and see what's their style. Because
Mhm.
each child listen in their own way, they learn in their own way, they observe in their own way. And unfortunately, like schools are not really, equipped to attend to each child based on their individual needs. You
Mhm.
know, I don't know when that's going to be an actual thing when they can really cater to each child's need, or maybe group them based on how they learn. Something like that would be nice because when you get put in a structure that is not suitable to your learning style, it can make you feel like you're dumb or you're inadequate. And that kind of stuff, it messes with your self confidence and it affects the way you adapt as you become an adult, how you evolve and stuff like that in life. That's just a general talk there. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you would like to share with the community before we close it?
Just that my podcast is called Our Autism Journeys, and so I'm open to anybody that would like to share their journey. And also I know how some people are shy on the camera. And so am I. I'm shy too, but I know this is a good thing, so I'm working on it. But, I'm always open to anybody, even for special needs. Any kind of disability. Anybody can come in and share their journey because my whole thing is like I want people to be able to be seen, be heard, and to be able to share their journey. The good, the bad, the proudest moments. I want people to be able to brag about their child, because even like with us parents on the spectrum, with kids on the spectrum, we feel like, I don't know if everyone does, but I know when I was, had my son when he was younger, I kind of felt defeated, and I didn't really want to share like my son's accomplishments because other people's parents were like, their child was actually doing a lot better, like say, oh, they're hitting their milestones and like, oh yeah, they hit their, their milestone at the right time. And, our
Mhm.
kids sometimes are delayed for those milestones. And so I didn't really share mine too much, but, I know that every milestone when you have a kid on the spectrum or special needs is definitely something to celebrate. I mean, the big, the
Totally.
small, everything. Even if they just like try a new food or even just taste it, that's something that to be proud of, because a lot of kids on the spectrum have their safe foods and they don't want to do that either. It's
Oh,
hard
wow.
to get them to try that. Like my son, he has a lot of safe foods. He's a junk food eater. He loves his chips and everything else and his pizza, lots of cheese. And so I'm trying to get him off of, but he also eats healthy too. He loves his bell peppers. He loves strawberries.
Ooh, I love bell peppers and
Yeah,
strawberries. He's my kind of guy.
yeah. He loves, he loves the bananas, all that stuff, oranges. So I mean, he has
Ooh,
a happy little median, so
he
he does
eats
really
well. That's
good.
good. Welcome in, Robert, and thank you so much for modding. I really have to crown you as a mod in this chat. You are appreciated. And Frugal Mama is here as well. Welcome in, my sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all being here. Now, for me, this was informative. Like, I've learned a lot of things that I wasn't aware of. I really do appreciate you coming on here and just sharing so honestly. I really would love to ask you some more questions, but I have to respect your time. So I'm going to ask you have at least another 10 minutes or so. If you don't, that's okay, because my fault. I was a little late. So if you have it, you do. If you don't, that's okay. I want to thank you either way.
Yeah, that's okay. I think I have another 10 minutes. I'll just let my because I do have another meeting that was supposed to be at, I think at 10:40, but I'll just let them know that I'm a little bit late, and I'm sure
Okay,
they'll.
so then we'll do 5 minutes because I don't want you to be late for your stuff.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone that donated to the channel. You are appreciated. Thank you for encouraging donations, Robert. You are amazing. Thank you so
I'm
much.
an open book, so you can always ask me anything. I don't sugarcoat anything. I just let people know how it is. You know.
I love it. I appreciate that. So now I know, as a mom, we have to share attention between the siblings, the children.
Mhm.
So how did you rotate your way around that dynamic? Especially, the older sister, and now this baby's coming, this baby's getting all the attention. We already know sometimes there's some feelings there,
Mhm.
especially if we don't prepare them well enough. Like I didn't prepare my son
Yeah.
well enough for the birth of my last one. And I always encourage parents, please prepare your children because they're going to have feelings like he's now letting go of that stuff.
Yeah.
Only now, how many years later? 5 years later. So just prepare them. Like how were you able to still give attention to your eldest and let
Mhm.
her know, hey, mommy loves you, appreciate you, and still give the attention that Marty needed to him. Did
Well,
I say that right?
like
Yeah.
right now, or you mean when they're younger?
Younger.
Well,
Because I'm pretty sure they understand now. She's
yeah.
20 and she get it.
Yeah, when they're younger, honestly, I didn't really give my oldest that much attention because I couldn't, because I was very concentrated on my son, because he had my attention a lot, because he wouldn't sit still. I mean, he was always like on the run, like, I would, sit down on the couch, and just chill out for like a minute, and he'd be like running into something, going into the kitchen and get into something, or running over here or touching that, or, because he was a runner, and he loved touching.
Mm,
And he loved getting into everything. And so I was constantly on the move, and also we have stairs too. And so he
oh
was always,
wow.
yeah, so he was either trying to go upstairs, or he was trying to get into the kitchen and get into something, or he was playing with the TV, or he was, it was very, a lot of work.
He kept you fit.
Yes, definitely, yeah. So, I mean, he was a lot of work, and I think my oldest understood that. And so, I mean, I explained to her also, I just told her, that and she could see how he was, and she can see how I was stressed out, and so she tried to help out as much as she could,
Oh,
with
bless
the
you.
whole situation, I mean, but then also, she kinda got overwhelmed too, and so
Mhm,
I allowed her to do whatever she wanted to, like, go up to her room and have her own time, together with herself, I mean, because sometimes we
mhm,
need to decompress. And so that's, and so I think that helped a lot, but I mean, of course, I still tried to, whenever I could, I always, like when my son was sleeping, I would always ask, talk to my oldest and go, so how was your day? How you been doing? And
mhm.
would do schoolwork or something like that, So I mean, I tried as much as I could, to give them equal attention, but of course my son was overtook that because he's
Yeah, it's understandable.
yeah.
All right. And my last question for you is, how do you balance it all? What do you do for your self-care to kind of revive yourself, keep yourself balanced and going? Because I could imagine sometimes, especially in the beginning, it might be frustrating,
Mhm,
especially if you're not a very patient person. I don't know if you are, but for me, I personally was not a very patient person. But my children have been teaching me
mhm.
how to be patient, and I appreciate them for that so much. So, like, how do you find your balance to recollect yourself and find time for you? How do you do that?
Well, of course, when he was younger, I didn't really have much time to myself anyways, because, he was just I was constantly like, even when he was sleeping, I was always worried about, like, okay, well, he's gonna get up and he's gonna get into something, so I couldn't really leave his side too much. And also I'm a pretty light sleeper, and so every time he move or do something, I was like, okay, what is he getting into? What is he trying to do? So it was a lot of work, but now, like, actually how I decompress now is actually I sleep, I take naps. I
Mm,
always have to, like, try to, try to relax myself and try to take naps, or try to, like, just calm myself down somehow, because he's a lot more independent now. Like right now, I don't know if you guys saw him in the background, but he woke up
I
and he
showed him.
yeah, so he woke up and he went downstairs, and he's doing his own thing right now, so he's good.
Excellent. Well, thank
Yeah,
you so much for coming on and for sharing with the Charlene Hill community. Everyone, make sure you check out Inga Support Her podcast that's coming next week. We don't know when yet, but if
yeah,
you put on your notification bell on her channel, you will see. when it pops up. So make sure you connect with her. It's in the description box. If you have any questions, take it over there because we're about to close this one out.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for your time, sis.
Thank you.
Blessings to you and your family. Blessings to everyone hearing our voice. Thank you all for coming and for supporting this. And for those of you that are going through this, know that there's support out there. There's help out there. Follow Inga on this journey, and she can lead you to the different places where you can find the support you need. You don't have to go through this alone. Parenting in general is a challenge.
Yeah.
And as a community, we can hold each other's hand and help each other through. Each one help one. It takes a village. So again, thank you everyone and take good care. Robert, special shout out to you. And thank you for being an amazing mod. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.